really bad at whistling. But this is practicing scales, and every musician does it, because without practicing scale, you cannot be fast, you cannot be quick, you don't have the agility to be a good musician. So this is so important. And in photography, this is the same thing. And I see that many photographers, they have no clue. What are the scales in photography? Well, aperture, shutter speed, ISO. And people don't know how to calculate it. This is why if you don't know your scales, you will not be able to expose, compensate if necessary. They're surprised because they changed something and there is a lot more light or less light than what they thought, or just a little and they were expecting a lot more. So we're going to check this. This video is a recycled video from my member area that I changed. There are no videos there anymore. I prefer to put that kind of tuition in public. But if you wanted to help me, you can still be a member. It's really affordable. There's a join button just below and you will get a small star next to your name and I will answer your question with priority. So let's start. When we measure light and we measure light difference, we speak about stop of light. What does this mean? What does it mean? Well, if I measure light, I get a quantity. And if I get half this amount of light or twice the amount of light, I've changed by one stop. One stop lower, one stop higher. There are several ways of doing it. Playing with the aperture, playing with the shutter speed. Shutter speed sometimes is expressed in a fraction, 1/, or sometimes on the camera it puts a full number, but it's still a fraction, okay? Or with the ISO. So we're going to see the 3 scales because you absolutely need to know them. I see so many people telling me, no, I change the aperture and I don't see much difference, or the other way around. I change the aperture and I see so much difference, because they're not aware of how much it affects, if it's really a lot more light or a lot less light. So let's see these 3 scales that we absolutely need to know. Let's start with the aperture. The aperture is the strangest scale for many people because they think it works the other way around, but actually it's the result of a fraction, 1/. How do you calculate this? Well, actually it's a physical calculation. You have the focal length of your lens and you divide by the physical size of the hole in the aperture. Let's say you have a lens that is 50 millimeter, we all know as a 50, and the hole has 25 millimeter. 50 divided by 25 gives 2. f2, this is an f2 aperture. Let's say you have a 100 millimeter focal length and you still have the same 25 millimeter physical hole. 100 divided by 25, f4. So, as you understand, the result gives that the lower the number, the more light enters, and the higher the number, the less light enters. So that's important because many people are confused with that, okay? When you see 1.0, you get a lot more light than if you're f45. That's the way it works, okay? So you need to know the full stops. The full stops are the following one. First, the first cameras, you only had full stop when you could manage the aperture, okay? But nowadays you get in third. You still find some lenses, manual lenses with an aperture ring that has only full stop, okay? But most cameras nowadays, digital cameras, they have third also. But you need to know the full stop. This is half or double the amount of light, okay? So let's start 1.0. I know there are some lenses that are more luminous, but let's start with this. 1.0, next full stop is 1.4, then f2, then f2.8, 4.0, 5.6, 8, 11, 16, 22, 32, 45, 64, and so on. Most cameras we have stop at f16, f22, sometimes f32, 45, but many lenses stop at f16, f22, okay? So you need to know these full stops because you understand this is twice or half the amount of light. Let's say I am on 2.8. If I change to f4, I get half the amount of light. If I am on f8, I change to 5.6, I've got twice the amount of light. So it's important. But obviously working half and double is not really precise. And I see that when people check their camera, they see numbers, figures that indicate thirds. And many people think that from one stop to the following third, it is a full stop, when it's not, it's just a third. So let's say you're on 1.0, then 1.1 is an extra third, 1.2 is 2 extra thirds, and 1.4 is a full stop. If you look at f4, f4 to 4.5 is 1/3 extra. 4.5 to 5.0 is 2/3 extra. And then 5.6 is a full stop from f4 to 5.6. So when you change something on your camera, you must be aware that what you're doing is just a third or a full stop. The same as musician know the scale. I don't know it in letters. I know it as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Okay, but really you need to know that, because if someone tells you, yeah, you need to open one stop and you're on f4, if you go to 3.5, you just open 1/3 and not a full stop. You should go down to 2.8. So it's really important you know the scale by heart. You must not have to think about this. When someone says 2 extra stop, 1 extra stop, 1 stop less, 2 stop less, 5 stop more, all this, you need to calculate that fast. By the way, if you wanted to help me, I already told it at the beginning about the member area, but I also have affiliate links in description, so please use them. And if you wanted to buy Luminar Neo or Aperture by Skylum, get a 10% discount with my code ERIC10. 10% on top of any offer they have. You still place your code, it's even cheaper for you. And with ERIC20, you get a 20% discount on K&F website, where you will find all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands like tripod, bags, filters, all this. So please use it. That really helps me. That helps you too. So thank you so much. Let's carry on. Now let's speak about the shutter speed or time value. Some people call it time, other people shutter speed. Doesn't really matter. The result is the same. Is just the way we say it, but this, what's important, we speak about how long the shutter will be open and then close. Okay. Same thing. We have some full stop and we also have some third. For many people, this is a lot easier to understand because we're surrounded by time, second, minute, hours, days. We all know about time. Our life is around time, so it's easier. The small difficult part is it depends on the camera you have. Sometimes it will give you the fraction, like half a second is 1/2, or sometimes they will just put just 2. So you say, is it 2 seconds or half a second? Well, actually, it depends on the camera you have, but normally if it was 2 seconds, it's written a bit differently. They put on S, or there's an indication, we speak about full second, okay? So the full stop are the following one. 1 second, half a second, 1/4 of a second, 1/8 of a second, sometimes they put just 8 or just 15 for 1/15 of a second, 1/30, 1/60, 1/125, 1/250, 1/500, 1/1000, 1/2000, 1/4000, 1/8000, and so on. It's easier to understand that half a second is twice more light than 1/4 of a second. Or it's easy to understand that 1/1000th of a second, 1/1000, is twice more light than 1/2000. Okay, it's important to understand that, because if someone says just change 1 stop of light, because sometimes you don't want to touch the aperture for whatever reason. Maybe your maximum aperture you cannot change it, or your minimum aperture you cannot change it, and you just want to play with shutter speed. Okay, but still, if we speak about full stop, it's not precise, because sometimes I don't want to have half the amount of light or twice the amount of light. I want to be more precise. This is why there are also some thirds, like 1 second, well, then you have 1/1.3, then 1/1.6, then half a second. So you see you have a full stop, it starts at 1, then you have a full stop when you go to half a second, but then you have third, 1/1.3, 1/1.6, so this is precise. If I look at 1/4 of a second, then I will have 1/5 of a second, 1/6 of a second, and then 1/8. So as you can see, same as the aperture, you could play in third. With speed, many cameras let you play in third, so it is precise. Obviously, you don't have to play just with shutter speed or just with aperture or just with ISO. You can combine two of them or all three of them. It depends on what you want to do. But you need to know these full stops and thirds also. Because if someone tells you, I am using 1/1000 of a second, and the person tells you, oh yeah, but you should cut one stop of light, you must know that it will be 1/2000. Or you said, oh yeah, maybe you're 1/3 with too much exposure, so you should go just over, just 1/3, not the full stop. So you must learn this scale also. Obviously, you understood that if you open the shutter for 1 second, you get twice more light than if you open for half a second. Most people understand that, and it's easy to understand the time part of a camera, okay? So now let's speak about the ISO. You also have the way to change the amount of light that capture the sensor. When we speak about aperture, it's a physical hole that is more or less open. When we speak about time value or shutter speed, it's the time the shutter is open that is longer or shorter, and the amount of light that reaches the sensor or the film. When we speak about the ISO, it's a bit different. If we speak about a sensor, then it's like electronic that makes the sensor more sensitive to light. So it's like if you had received more or less light. If it's a film, same thing. It works the same way, okay, except that you cannot change your ISO during the film. It's fixed for the whole roll, okay. So you also have a full stop and third of a stop. I'm going to start on 100, but it depends on your camera. For example, my Fujifilm JFX 100S Mark II starts at 80 ISO native. My Olympus OM1 starts at 200 ISO. My Fujifilm X100 Mark VI starts at 125. So take it into account if these figures are not exactly the same on your camera. The third will be the same, but actually it will start differently. But that's not a problem. It actually works exactly the same way. 100 ISO, if you go on 200, is twice more light. 400, 800, 1600, 3200, 6400, 12800, 25600, 51200, 102,400, and so on. Some camera go higher, others don't go that high, doesn't matter. These are full stop. When I am on 400 ISO, I get half the light of 800 ISO. And when I'm on 3200 ISO, I get twice more light than on 1600 ISO. Okay, the light is the same, it's a sensitivity that is changed, but the result is the same. It's as if you were receiving more light. Okay, but as you can see, it's half or double, and actually that's not precise. So you also need to know the third. For example, 100 ISO, the full following stop is 200 ISO, but in between you have some third. 125, one extra third. 160, two extra third. 200, full stop. Okay, so it means like if you were on 1600 ISO, I tell you, yeah, put an extra third of light. If you put 3200, that's not an extra third, it's an extra stop, full stop, twice more light. So you should go from 1600 to 2000 ISO. If I said 2/3 is 2500 ISO, and if I said a full stop, that would be 3200 ISO. So it's so important that you also know your ISO scale. Okay, we need to know everything. So this is why it is so important that you know the three scales. I know some people will ask, what happens if I use aperture priority or shutter speed priority or auto ISO? Well, that's not the theme of this video, but still, you would still need to know the scale you want to play with, because maybe one is in automatic and the rest you have to fix the way you want. So it's important you know it. Some people will say, but photography is art, so it doesn't really matter what you do or how you do it. The important is the result. Yes, the important is the result, as long as you obtain the result you want. Otherwise, it's a lottery, it's not photography. So you need to know what you're doing. And once you know that by heart, you don't have to think anymore about it. Your brain works on it And in the meanwhile, you think about the aesthetic side of your picture, how it looks, how beautiful it is, the framing, all this. But the technique, you need to know it. So you will be free of it to be able to concentrate on the aesthetical aspect, which is logical. And honestly, people watch a photography, they like it, they don't like it, they don't mind if it's high ISO or low ISO or high shutter speed or whatever. But you need to know, because you need to decide how to set your camera to obtain the result you want. Otherwise, it's pure luck, it's not photography. So sorry about that, but you need to learn this. So I hope you like this video. If you feel it may interest, so first, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and if you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the small button down here and the small bell. If you click on the bell, you will get notified when I upload a new video. My website, gibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Don't forget I've activated the member area of my YouTube channel. There's a join button just below and you will get a small star next to your name, and I will answer your question with priority. Thank you so much. I also leave you affiliated links in description. Please use them, that really helps me. And if you wanted to buy Luminar Neo or Aperture by Skylum, get a 10% discount with my code ERIC10. 10% on top of any offer they have. You still place the code, it's even cheaper for you. So yeah, great. And with ERIC20 you get a 20% discount with K&F website. You will find all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands like filters, bags, tripod, all this. So use it. That helps me, that helps you, that's great. And I'll also leave you my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.